there is a sound that exists nowhere else on Earth. Quite like it, a low, hollow clang, drifting across an empty alpine meadow, carried by wind that has nowhere else to go. No traffic, no voices, just a cowbell, and the silence behind it. But in Switzerland, that silence is never really empty. It's full of centuries, of discipline, of a story written into the mountains themselves. This is a country that refuses to be one thing. Landlocked at the very heart of Europe, wedged between France, Germany, Italy, Austria, and Liechtenstein, Switzerland has spent centuries absorbing the world around it without ever losing its own shape. Step across an invisible line and the language changes. German gives way to French, French gives way to Italian, and somewhere in the eastern valleys an ancient tongue called Romansh still survives. 4 languages, 1 nation, no chaos. And above it all, the Alps, not just scenery, but something closer to architecture, 2/3 of the entire country folded into peaks and valleys that have shaped everything from its economy to its temperament. Cautious, precise, self-reliant, a nation that stayed neutral through 2 world wars and quietly built one of the wealthiest societies on Earth. But to understand how that character actually lives and breathes, you have to look past the mountains, into the traditions the Swiss have carried almost unchanged for generations. Swiss culture moves at the pace of a hand-wound watch, deliberate, exact, built to last. This is the country that turned timekeeping into an art form where brands like Patek Philippe still assemble movements by hand, the same painstaking way their founders did over a century ago. It's also a democracy unlike almost any other. Swiss citizens vote directly on national issues several times a year, deciding everything from railway funding to constitutional change, a level of civic involvement that borders on the extraordinary. And every spring, somewhere in the mountains, the past comes alive in motion. The Alpabzug, when cattle crowned in flower wreaths and oversized bells are paraded down from the high pastures, entire villages turning out just to watch them come home. It's a culture that doesn't perform its rituals for show. It simply still believes in them, and nowhere does that belief show up more deliciously than at the Swiss table. Switzerland eats the way it lives, regionally, deliberately, and without apology. In the German-speaking cantons, rosti rules the plate. Shredded potato, pressed and fried until the outside turns gold and crackling. Then there's fondue. Not just a dish, but a ritual, melted cheese shared from a single pot. A tradition born in long alpine winters when neighbors gather to stretch a meal and outlast the cold together. Food here tells the story of a country built on patience. And that same patience, it turns out, is exactly what built its economy. Beneath the postcard scenery runs one of the most quietly powerful economies on the planet. Switzerland has almost no natural resources, no oil, no vast farmland, no mineral wealth to lean on, and yet it ranks among the richest nations on Earth. The reason isn't luck. It's precision turned into industry. Pharmaceutical giants headquartered in glass towers, banks built on a centuries-old reputation for discretion, and factories that still export some of the finest machinery and timepieces in the world. Even the trains reflect it. A national railway so exact that arriving even a few minutes late counts as a delay worth apologizing for. That philosophy begins in Bern. Switzerland's capital is almost defiantly modest for a country this wealthy. No soaring skyline, no rush to impress. Instead, a medieval old town unfolds in sandstone barely changed in over 500 years, its covered arcades stretching for kilometers beneath the same rooftops generations have walked under. At its center stands the Zittglocke, a 13th century astronomical clock tower that still draws a small crowd every hour, just to watch its mechanical figures perform a ritual older than the country itself. The Aare River curls around the old town in a near-perfect loop, and on hot summer days, Bern reveals a looser, more playful side. Locals don't just admire the water, they jump straight into it, floating downstream through the heart of the city, a commute so beloved that office workers keep a dry bag at their desks just for the swim home. Bern isn't trying to convince you of anything. It's simply been doing the same thing, beautifully for centuries. 90 minutes north, though, Switzerland shows you an entirely different face. Zurich is the engine room. This is Switzerland's financial nerve center, a city of glass towers and private banks, where some of the world's quietest fortunes change hands. Walk down Bahnhofstrasse, one of the most expensive streets on the planet, and you'd think this city has no time for anything but business. But step just a few blocks away, and Zurich softens, Lake Zurich glittering at the edge of the old town. Swimmers diving off public docks in the shadow of centuries-old church spires, former industrial warehouses in districts like Zurich West reborn as galleries, breweries, and concert halls. Zurich never has to choose between old world order and modern reinvention. It simply runs both simultaneously, down to the minute. But if Zurich is ambition, the next city is something else entirely. Beauty with nothing left to prove. Lucerne is where Switzerland exhales. The Chapel Bridge, a wooden footbridge first built in the 14th century, stretches across the Reuss River beneath a wall of snow-capped peaks, so perfectly framed they barely look real. Beyond it, Lake Lucerne opens out, ringed by mountains like Pilatus and Rigi, both still reachable by cogwheel railways that have been hauling visitors skyward since the 1800s. Where Bern carries history and Zurich carries ambition, Lucerne carries something simpler, stillness. It's the version of Switzerland that ends up on every chocolate box and watch advertisement, except here, standing in front of it, you realize it was never an exaggeration at all. From the clock towers of Bern to the glass skyline of Zurich, to a wooden bridge in Lucerne that has outlived empires, Switzerland is a country built on doing a few things extraordinarily well, and never once rushing to prove it. Now sit back, let the mountains take over, and enjoy the rest of the journey through one of the most quietly spectacular countries on Earth.